5 Premier League clean sheets in a row, 6 points clear at the top of the table, but more fresh injury concerns after Arsenal's 2-0 victory over Bournemouth on Saturday. I'm going to be discussing all that and more on today's match review episode of the Arsenal Match Reaction Show. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Match Reaction Show. That's right, we are 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League and it feels really, really good. Even with Liverpool and Manchester City picking up wins in tough fixtures, we stay clear of our two main title rivals thanks to, I'm going to say, an excellent first half because it really was a really tremendous half of football against Burnley on Saturday. So delighted with that. If you want to make sure that you're catching all the coverage of the games here at Arsenal Match Reaction, because this show is all about extending and enhancing your matchday experience, make sure you hit follow or subscribe on YouTube and you will not miss any of these episodes that I'm doing. And today I'm going to be talking about, like I said, that fantastic first half, a surprise in the lineup, some of the tactical things that I think went on, the plan from Mikel Arteta, and then, of course, some of that slightly worrying injury news, perhaps from his post-match press conference, and obviously looking ahead a little bit to tomorrow's game against Slavia Prague. So let's get in with it and let's start on the lineup and the plan from Mikel Arteta. Okay, so the lineup. There was a surprise in the lineup to me because I did not think William Saliba would be risked at all. We knew Gabriel Martinelli wouldn't be fit from the pre-match press conference, but I was convinced that the doubt over William Saliba, given the game that it was, would mean we wouldn't see him. Perhaps if it's Manchester City and there's a doubt over William Saliba, you're thinking, yeah, well, Arteta will go for him. But I thought we would see Christian Mosquera in this game. In the end, we didn't. We saw David Raya in goal, Jurrien Timber at right back, Saliba at right centre-back, having recovered just in time. Gabriel left centre-back, we'll come on to him in a moment, and Calafiori at left-back. Zubimendi, Rice in the midfield with Eze in front of them, Saka on the right, Gyokeres through the middle and Trossard off the left. So, pretty much what we would have, I guess, expected from Mikel Arteta. In my preview show, I said I would like to see two kind of more attacking eights, maybe Marino and Eze, and then one of Rice and Zubimendi gets to sit down. Probably, I think I predicted Rice and then Zubimendi. Well, no, actually, Zubimendi's suspended. So I can't remember who I predicted, to be honest. But the main thing was the two attacking eights that I wanted. We didn't get that, but Rice had a storming game, so it didn't really make too much difference. He was very effective across all 3/3 of the pitch. For me, I thought the interesting thing watching the game, and especially the first half, I would say, because the first half is usually where you see the tactical plan play out, and then there'll be tweaks at halftime. Burnley definitely tweaked at halftime. And I watched this game in a really weird way. I was only able to catch the second half live. So then I went back and rewatched the first half in kind of using the Arsenal full match replay. And so I saw it in a completely different order. I saw the kind of dodgy half and then the good half. But in the first half, I felt like our plan was to play down Arsenal's left and keep the ball away from Burnley's left. Now, that's not something we usually do, but I highlighted in the preview that actually Hartman and Anthony, who was playing kind of up front in this game, but drifting out to the left, they are their main threats. So I wonder if Mikel Arteta was taking a very Mikel Arteta line on things and making sure that his rest defence was kind of set up in a way that it would keep Burnley on their weaker side, which is their right-hand side, away from their threat and not allow any transitional counters on their strong side. I think people have spoken a little bit in the aftermath about Bukayo Saka perhaps not being quite as involved as we wanted him to be. And he certainly missed two big chances in that first half, didn't he? But I think the focus was to play down the left. And maybe that's why Bukayo Saka felt a little bit less involved than he usually does. I'm not 100% certain. Obviously, I'm not a mind reader, but it felt like we went to Leandro Trossard a lot. And when you look at the statistics, a slightly higher concentration of our play was on the left, which is obviously very unusual for Arsenal. We're usually right-hand dominant or completely even. There is a slight left bias here. Look, Leandro Trossard has been playing really, really well. I can't believe that it was about, we're going to give the ball to Leandro Trossard a lot more because we think he's going to do more damage than Bukayo Saka in isolation. I think it was probably about, We think Burnley's left-hand side, sorry, is slightly stronger. So we will play to their right-hand side off our left, of course. So that was, I think, the plan from Mikel Arteta, and it worked in the first half. Obviously, we scored a very, very good goal on the counter-attack down the left, and another one from a corner. So what was the story of this game? The story of the game, as I've already alluded to, tale of two halves for me. The first half, we were really, really good. And I think Burnley, they certainly from about 10 minutes to sort of 40 minutes, did not look like they could cope with us at all. We had them really hemmed in, and it was one of those games where um, it's always difficult going away in the Premier League, and it's a difficult game to play against a team like Burnley, who are combative, well set up, and well drilled by Scott Parker. I think it certainly felt like we got to a point about 10 minutes in where they just couldn't keep the ball, and we just kept winning it back, and it meant wave after wave of Arsenal pressure and attacks. We have, of course, have already spoken about two chances that Bukayo Saka missed. Viktor Gyokeres putting him through really smartly for one of them. I thought that was a wonderful piece of centre forward play. He probably should have scored at least one of them, but I'm not particularly here to kill Bukayo Saka in this moment. He scored against Brighton in the League Cup midweek. I thought that was a really good goal. And I think he has had a very disruptive start to this season. And he looks like he still needs to get up to pace. So I think Bukayo Saka has some kind of miles to put in his tank and get himself up to full fitness and full sharpness. Yeah, like I say, I'm not too worried. Not too worried about that, especially when Viktor Gyokeres has the first half that he did. And I want to speak about Viktor Gyokeres and too good, too bad at the end. So I will save a lot of this, but he was really, really a big difference maker in that first half. And when he went off at halftime, it felt like the game changed completely. Burnley were able, all of a sudden, to keep the ball a lot more effectively. I don't doubt that they tweaked a lot of stuff at halftime because they had to change something. Scott Parker could not leave it as it was because Arsenal were just running at Burnley over and over and over again. They had no kind of way to keep the ball, no answer to anything that we had. So I think they've obviously made some tweaks. But Viktor Gyokeres was suddenly no longer there to run the channels, push Burnley back, create space in the middle of the pitch for the likes of Eze to go and occupy, for the likes of Leandro Trossard to drift into. Marino was kind of dropping deep a lot more, and it allowed Burnley to push up, and we didn't really have the pace or threat in behind. Like I say, Gabriel Martinelli was out. Saka looks like he still needs to get up to full speed. Gyokeres was off the pitch by this point. We had no one running in behind, and I think that did change the game for Burnley because they were able, in the second half, suddenly to come on to us. We weren't able to play out quite as easily, and there were definitely a couple of moments where I think we would have maybe just hit a couple of passes in our third and then channeled one if we had the likes of Viktor Gyokeres or Gabriel Martinelli on the pitch. And in the first half, we did that a lot. But in the second half, we weren't able to do that. It led to a couple of awkward moments, and it meant that Burnley weren't, one, facing wave after wave of attack, and two, could get on the ball a little bit more. And they did pop it around fairly nicely in the second half. So the second half, I think a combination of Viktor Gyokeres coming off, us not having the runners in behind, and Burnley just able to squeeze us a little bit more and get the kind of pressure and keep the ball a little bit better, meant that the first half felt a lot better than the second. And of course, we got the goal from the corner to open it up. That always helps. I find in these away games, the crowd is so important. When it goes on for 0-0 for a long time, you're sat there going, oh God, they're getting into this here. That it's nervous. The away fans get nervous. Us watching on TV gets nervous. Like, it's all very, very difficult. And when that atmosphere, that tension starts to ramp up, that feeds into the players, and they notice that. And they also, in their head, are like, well, I need to win this game. We need to win this game. They start doing things differently, trying to force things perhaps. But a goal that early, is a tap in for Viktor Gyokeres, thanks to a wonderful touch from Gabriel. Does mean that the game was a lot simpler for us. We could just kind of keep going with our wave after wave of attack, but we had that pressure off. There was no need to force anything. We could take our time with things. And I think when you have that pressure off, certainly as this Arsenal team have this pressure off, you can see us just tick and purr a lot better than we perhaps do in some of the more tense games. So really, really happy with that first half, how it played out. And Yeah, I don't think you can have any complaints. Let's talk about that Gabriel touch really, really quickly. I thought it was a header, first of all, maybe from Urian Timber, I thought, but it turns out it skips all of them. And Gabriel, with the light, deftest touch back into the path of Viktor Gyokeres, who couldn't miss. Great for him now. 6 goals for Viktor Gyokeres across all competitions, 4 in the Premier League, 2 in the Champions League. Really, really happy for him. Lots of people had been talking about him. That 10-game run without a goal for club or country was starting to get a little bit worrying. I was worried, I must admit, but he's starting just to poach goals now. And I love the fact that Arsenal have a goal poacher who is also so hardworking and so physical. Look, when Kai Havertz comes back, I expect Kai Havertz to get tons of minutes. I do not expect it to be the Viktor Gyökeres show, but we have needed him so badly in the absence of Kai Havertz. So really, really impressed. In fact, I want to talk about Viktor Gyökeres in a little bit more detail. So too good, too bad. Let's do that right now. Okay, too good, too bad. Viktor Gyökeres. I mean, I've already spoken about his goal, his general work rate, his running really caused Burnley a lot of issues. So I've already told you about that. I'm not going to repeat that. I do want to talk about his touch and his passing, though, because for the first time I watched Viktor Gyökeres and I thought, boy, you don't look like you've got size 14 feet. Like, he might have size 14 feet, by the way, but he felt like a player with a little bit more deftness, a little bit more subtlety. There were a couple of passes that I thought were really, really good. I've already mentioned one. He slipped Bukayo Saka through from one of Bukayo's chances. A really, really deft touch. I think a more kind of a less cultured striker would maybe just take that on his right foot and just blast it and try and get it round the defender. But I thought it was a really, really nice piece of play from Viktor Gyökeres to just slide Bukayo Saka through after Eze had slid him in into a really good position, I should say. So maybe something I wasn't expecting from Viktor Gyökeres. Really, really nice from him. But of course, the moment of the match for me, from a Viktor Gyökeres point of view, that I really was not expecting from this guy was that pass to Leandro Trossard in the build-up to Declan Rice's goal. Saka wins the header at the end of the Burnley throw, kind of sends it out. Viktor Gyökeres drives onto it, drives with the ball, and all of a sudden plays this kind of low fizzer. Like, it's not a lofty ball, it's kind of driven in just over head height into the path of Leandro Trossard. And there's a real definite technique to that where he strikes the back of the ball and strikes down on it so it spins a little bit more and it stays in. I think otherwise that ball is just running and running and running. He puts the spin on it. Leandro Trossard is able to get onto it, provides a wonderful cross, and Declan Rice can't miss the second header of the game. So Viktor Gyökeres, well done to you. If I was doing player ratings, I think I would have given him perhaps a 9. It's difficult when you don't play the full game, but he was really, really good. I think he hardly put a foot wrong and was really important in this win and in both goals, of course. So fantastic from him, a game-changing performance. He went off at halftime with something that Mikel Arteta described as a injury niggle, which is really disappointing. I hope it's precautionary. I hope it's nothing. Hopefully we'll find out more later today when Mikel Arteta speaks to the press before Slavia Prague. The other player I'm going to give in my too good rating was Declan Rice. Declan Rice got man of the match, I think, really deservedly so. Perhaps if Gyökeres stays on for the whole thing, he might have got it. We don't know with the way he was playing. But Declan Rice, especially in that second half, was just hoovering up loose balls. And he played like that was a Champions League final and he was away at Burnley. Like, that's the seriousness that our players, our star players, our £100 million men take these games with. We've seen a number of £100 million transfers fail flat on their face and just end terribly. Declan Rice is not like that. He is a fantastic player and takes everything so, so seriously. He was hoovering up loose balls, tons and tons of really effective passing in this game as well. And of course, his goal. I wanted the two attacking eights to kind of create a bit more pressure on Burnley and maybe pop the ball around a bit more. But Declan Rice absolutely filled that category for me and more. He did the job and scored the goal. He is a world-class midfielder. And when I see crap like Enzo Maresca saying that Caicedo and Rodri are the best two defensive midfielders in the world, I do just laugh. I do just laugh because maybe the argument would be, well, Declan Rice isn't really playing as a defensive midfielder, but going back and watch that second half, he was everywhere, pulling everything out of those loose balls, the second balls, everything. He was brilliant. So I have to say, I think he is the best midfielder in the world, and I'm so happy we have him at our club. The too bad, it's really difficult to find a too bad in a kind of easy win, I would say. I guess injuries is definitely one of them. Gyokeres going off and Mendy apparently dealing with an issue. Mendy suspended for midweek, so that's not too much of a worry. He should hopefully have 7 days off and hopefully be fine. And I guess I don't have another too bad, to be honest, guys. Since I've introduced this segment, I haven't been able, I haven't been able to say two things where I'm like, oh, this is worrying me, because we've just been so good, so good. Maybe I said the one shot on target. I don't know, but um, it really doesn't feel like we've got too many things to complain about right now. We are just chugging through games, chugging through clean sheets, and look difficult to stop. I guess the only thing I would say is I would love to see an Arsenal performance like the Atletico Madrid one, like the Olympiacos one, where we just pop the ball around a bit more, and it's really difficult for the other team to even get near us, let alone get on the ball. And we play some of that Arsene Wenger football, or some of that kind of really nice attacking football that it feels like we've only been able to do in the Champions League so far this year. I'd love to see one of those in the Premier League very, very soon, but it is much harder in that competition. And get a set piece goal, get a good goal on a counter attack, an open play goal, nonetheless. It was a wonderful, wonderful piece of football. Maybe that's just what the Premier League is going to be about this year. I really want to see a fantastic attacking performance in the Premier League. But when we get Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz back, I'm sure we will see some more of that. Let's quickly talk Slavia Prague. I think there will be tons of rotation midweek. I'm not sure we'll see Kepa, but I'm sure we'll see the likes of Hincapié, Mosquera in the back four. I think, probably take Saliba out by the sounds of things, and maybe take Calafiori out. And we might see Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel, Hincapié, or Miles Lewis-Skelly. He had a wonderful game against Atletico Madrid in the last round, the last group stage game. So maybe we'll see him. We obviously won't see Mendy, which I think means Rice will start in that midfield, probably with Marino and Eze. And up front, it's really difficult. I mean, we are missing so many attacking players. Just off the top of my head, we're missing Madueke. We are missing Gabriel Martinelli. We're missing Gabriel Jesus. We're missing Kai Havertz. We're missing Martin Odegaard. We could now be missing Viktor Gyokeres. I have no idea what we're going to do. Hopefully, Viktor Gyokeres is fit. But to be honest, I'm not sure I could tell you who's going to start up front. I'm sure Leandro Trossard and Bukayo Saka will be off the wings, because really they're our only options right now. Unless you think maybe we'll put Ethan Nwaneri back out on the right wing, which I've spoken about before. I do want to see that, but Mikel Arteta has shown he's not keen on that. Up front, I have no idea. Can't see Harriman and Anous playing. He played really well against Brighton, but that would be bold. So maybe we'll see Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield with Declan Rice and Eze in front of him, or Christian Norgard in midfield with Rice and Eze in front of him, and Marino at top, perhaps. I hope that's not the case, because I'm not a biggest fan of that system. Worked really well at the end of last year, but I do prefer someone who is a bit more mobile up top. We will see. It's going to be a really difficult game to predict the lineup. Hopefully it is an easy victory. It's away. The Prague teams are they have tremendous atmosphere in the Champions League. So let's hope that it's not too bad from an atmosphere point of view, and we can kind of keep the ball in the early stages, quieten them down, score an early goal, and get away with an easy victory. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do an instant reaction tomorrow, I promise, because it's a nice early kickoff, 5:45. Stupid time for a Champions League game, but really, really helps my instant reactions. Then we'll be back in the regular cycle of match reviews, match previews for the Sunderland game, last game before the international break. So that's really important. We cover that. And hopefully we will end this kind of period block of games well clear in the Premier League, and with a perfect Champions League record to boot. Guys, thank you so much. If you are watching on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, and maybe comment your thoughts on the video. Do you think my rating of 9 for Viktor Gyokeres is fair? Do you think Declan Rice was the man of the match? Or tell me someone else that you think was really, really impressive. And if you're listening on audio platforms, please hit follow. It means you'll get your podcasts from me straight to your device, completely free of charge. And if you are feeling really, really generous, go and leave a 5-star review. It helps other people find the podcast and drives up engagement with the other Arsenal fans. So that's really, really appreciated. Guys, tomorrow night, Slavia Prague away. Like I say, instant reaction coming your way as well. So look out for that. And all that's left to say is thank you so much for following. Thank you for watching the videos, liking the videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your reviews. And I will see you again after a nice, comfortable Arsenal victory in the Champions League. Up the Arsenal.